Now, let's talk about that genetic evidence. In recent years, advances in ancient DNA have made it possible to compare modern animals directly with populations that lived thousands of years ago, not just in broad terms, but at the level of entire genomes. Among the most important of these comparisons are horses associated with the bow tie culture. These animals lived around 5,500 years ago in what is now northern Kazakhstan. Archaeological evidence suggests that they were among the earliest horses to be managed by humans, kept in large numbers, and likely used for milk and meat. For a long time, they were considered the starting point of horse domestication. So, when their DNA was sequenced, the expectation seemed straightforward. If domestic horses today descended from these early managed populations, then their genetic signatures should match. But they didn't. Modern horses, Equus ferus caballus, form a separate lineage. Instead, it was Przewalski's horse that showed the closest relationship. At first glance, this seems to suggest a surprising conclusion, that Przewalski's horse is not the last truly wild horse, but the descendant of an early domesticated population, a lineage that passed through human management and then returned to the wild. But the picture is not quite that simple, because this result can be interpreted more than one way. One possibility is exactly that the horses managed by the bowtie culture were domesticated, and that Przewalski's horse represents their feral descendants. If so, then what we see today is not a lineage that was never domesticated, but one that has been living independently for thousands of years. But there is another possibility, that the bowtie horses were not the ancestors of modern domestic horses at all, but members of a lineage already distinct. A population that may have been managed, even intensively, without giving rise to the domestic horses that would later spread across the world. In this view, Przewalski's horse and the bowtie horses share a common origin, but that does not necessarily make one the descendant of the other in a simple linear way. And even now, there is no complete consensus. The genetic signal is clear. These lineages are closely related, but how that relationship should be interpreted, whether as domestication followed by fertilization, or as a separate parallel lineage, remains an open question.